Hello everybody and welcome back to my Let's Play of FE6 Hard Mode Armors Only. And this one we're gonna take on Chapter 16. And yes, I did just promote Wendy. I mean, she's okay now. We also get to promote Barth later because there's a Night Crest, so everybody's promoted, basically. I'm opting to send Wendy and Barth through the normal way, and I'm sending Boars off to the right. I'm sending Roy to the right as well on Milady, just so we can get Hugh. Honestly, I'm not sure why I bothered getting Hugh. I should have just stolen the member card and killed him, but I guess it's good to just have a guy who can heal if we want to promote him. I mean, I don't know why I'd bother promoting him when I have better staff users, but could do that. Yeah, there's Zeiss. He's gonna conveniently be on top of the secret shop. Yeah, Douglas is on this map. Can't recruit him. He's gonna be annoying and try and hit you. Thankfully, he's not accurate, and he doesn't even hit hard enough to kill people. Like, he can't one-shot a base Cecilia. It's kinda funny. Like, he's actually not that scary. He's a decent enough unit, though. It's just, he's not a good enemy. Typically, I just like to put him to sleep. Though you can also just, like, run in circles with him and bait him. There are plenty of reinforcements on this map from turns 10 to 15, or is it 11 to 15? They'll come from all the stairs. And there will be a bolting mage that comes from the stairs where the other bolting mage is. He only comes once, though. Only once. Yeah, Wendy's EXP gain is actually pretty nice, since enemies are rather high leveled. That is kind of sad that Barth still can't get EXP, but it's whatever. Honestly, Douglas might be better than Barth for a little, though Douglas will probably be doubled by stuff, while Barth shouldn't be doubled by a lot of threatening things, because I did give him the speed wings. So I think after promotion he should have 13 or 14 speed, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, Elfin just needed to level either HP or res there to not get one shot by a purge, which is nice. Speaking of siege tomes, 16X is going to be fun. Lots of siege tomes there. Lots and lots of siege tomes there. Yeah, Barth, plenty bulky. He can take a magical attack or two. Actually, just one. Though we do have barriers on most everyone, so those are useful for this map. It allows Astor to survive a bolting, which he otherwise could not do. It's rather nice. So yeah, bolting mages are mad strong. They hit like trucks. I think that guy has 29 attack, which is nothing to sneeze at. That is enough to two-shot almost everybody in my army. Even like my promoted healers. Purge guy has less might though. Or attack, I should say. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to leave Kath in Purge range, but thankfully she's dodgy enough that he didn't have super high hit on her. If she did die, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I'd have just had to reset the first, like, 3 or 4 turns, which I already did have to do, so. Because my first attempt, I did not send Roy to the right. I didn't expect Hugh to go to the right, and he did, and then I killed Hugh. I was like, oh. I killed him while he had the member card. That was dumb. Why'd I do that? So then I had to reset. Very interesting story. Very. I wonder if Ray will get to D-staves by the end of the run. I think so. Probably will. We have like more healers than we have combat units, which is kind of funny. Funny thing about Fa is that she's so slow she gets doubled by siege tomes. But they typically have better targets to go for than her. Still just kind of funny though. Here I just say no to Hugh 5 times because I'm not. That's like an extra pair of boots. Difference between 10,000 and 5,000. Well, no. Well, no. Yes. There used to be a glitch with the new translation where his stats would underflow, and he'd have like 30 magic and skill, but it looks like they got rid of that. Sadly, I would have really liked to see Hugh have 30 magic and skill, and then I could promote him. I'd have like a 25 magic healer, but sadly, that is not the case anymore. Also, it is nice that you only have to talk to him once, and you can just say no multiple times. I bet if this was a more recent game, like a Awakening situation with recruiting Gangrel and the dumb Xenolog, you'd have had to talk to him, say no, talk to him again, say no, talk to him again, say no, and then be like, okay, now I'll recruit you for the minimum price. I mean, it'd probably have been more funny, it'd just have been a pain. Also, God, I love physic bishops. FE6 is really annoying with physics. Like, even as early as Chapter 7, it puts physics on healers. It's just so irritating. Ultimately not a big deal, though. Windy good. Gotta get that axe rank up. She doesn't get the best levels this chapter, though she does get that speed there. Which is nice. 19 speed. I mean, she's only 3 points away from capping it, which is hilarious. Just armors have awful, awful speed caps. Like, usually, taking caps into consideration doesn't matter, but when it comes to a cap of 21, 22, then yeah, when it comes to speed, that is a detriment. Because there's a lot Boars doesn't double with his capped speed. Like, he doubles most things, but the odd mercenary he isn't able to double. A lot of promoted enemies he isn't able to double. It's really sad. You can double bishops though, because those are slow. The good thing about Douglas as an enemy is that he is bulky, so you typically won't accidentally kill him on enemy phase unless you just happen to have a hammer or something equipped, or have him attack a promoted magic user. That shouldn't happen. This is like the first map in a long while where I don't get Merlinus killed, because I'm actually smart and don't leave him in enemy range. Because this map is good for getting shopping done at the secret shop. Though any map with a shop is good for shopping, because you can just sell everything on Merlinus, but this is one of the few Gaiden chapters that isn't tied to a turn, or 16X isn't tied to a turn requirement on this map. It's just keeping Douglas alive, like getting 8x is just keeping Lena alive. Also, Saul good, to nobody's surprise. Boys loves missing. Low skill gang, low skill gang. So 16 isn't low. It's definitely not optimal. Because missing with an Iron Lance does get annoying. Yeah, the secret shop for this map sells promotion items as well as angelic robes. I don't really want to buy angelic robes because all of my armors have high HP already. A Barth will only be 1 HP off of capping, I believe, because he has a 100% HP growth but will never cap it naturally. It's kind of funny. And then Douglas obviously won't cap it, but his base is very good. Douglas's only good stats are HP and defense, and sorta strength, but I mean, he's Douglas. His combat isn't good because he'll never ever double even the weakest enemies. Whereas even Barth doubles some weaker enemies. Especially after promotion. Lindy doubles things. Boars definitely doubles things. Yeah, Boars' attack power is a little lacking. I should have probably brought a hammer on him, but it is kind of sad that he isn't able to kill just regular old knights without having to use Armads, which I'm definitely not going to use Armads for something like that. There are definitely better uses of Armads in the world. Here I'm just looking up the reinforcements and how long they last, that's why I kind of paused for a bit. So they do come in a pretty large wave. They're a bit of a pain to deal with, but they're alright. They're not really the most unfair reinforcements. Outside of maybe a bolting mage spawning, but he's at the start of the map in a locked away area. And he also does no damage to Fa, which is funny. And really now we just have to come to a halt and deal with the ambush spawns. Can't really rush ahead. We probably could, but it'd be a bit of a pain to keep Milady safe, Roy safe. Especially with Douglas about. Again, Douglas isn't super threatening, but his attack is high enough that he borderline one-shots some of my magical units. Yeah, this is going a little off topic, but on the talking about promoted magic units, I've never really understood why people thought Cecilia was awful. Like, she's a free mounted healer. She's promoted for free. She has really good movement. She has a decent enough staff rank. Like, I don't get the deal. Staff users are really good, especially promoted ones, so... Guess people just don't like her because her combat isn't amazing, but she can use her caliber at base, so... Even then she can ship wyverns. Or it's not even chip, it's like do significant damage to wyverns. She just doesn't one-round wyvern lords. I don't think Saul faced a chance of death there, because javelins are pretty weak. But if he did, then that was just me being stupid. So I thought the reinforcements ended the other turn, but I was dumb. Also, status staves become more accurate the closer you are to the target, so that's why I moved directly next to Douglas before sleeping him. Though it still does have a decent chance of missing, because status staves use 1 RN instead of 2 RN, like hits on weapons in combat does. This map isn't super difficult, it's just a little tedious with all the reinforcements. And also the siege tomes at the beginning. Never been a huge fan of siege tomes. Like, they're alright when they're rare enough, but I've never really enjoyed or felt like enemies having siege tomes incentivized anything besides just baiting them out and waiting for them to break. Especially when they're on enemies that like one-shot half of my units. Like, unless I'm expected to use a warp to warp in a really strong unit to kill the siege tome user and move everyone else up, it's always been kinda lame to deal with. Very ability very bulky. Even when doubled, takes like nothing from the mercenaries. Or I have to pull some big brain strats. Not even big brain strats, it's just baiting guys with Barth, Barrier Barth. Because Barrier Barth barely doesn't die to 2 Hellfires. It's a magic tank, as you might say. But I think they'll still opt to go for Ray here. For some odd reason, even though Ray isn't facing a chance of death, they just like getting people to low HP. Or maybe they like not getting countered. I'm not even positive how the AI works. I just know how AI movements work. Movements as in like when they start moving. I've already gone on a rant on chapter 14 about how group AI is not a thing. But yeah. Wendy's defense is so high. She's probably the only armor I have that won't cap it. Well, besides Douglas, of course, because it's like level 10 promoted. With those bases. Douglas usually doesn't cap anything. It's fine, though. Being obsessed with caps isn't a good thing. It's just his stats pale in comparison to anybody else's. Any other armors, I should say. Which typically doesn't matter, because typically you won't promote any other armors. And it'll make Douglas seem at least decent. Even then, I don't think Douglas is a very popular unit, and I can kinda see why. I mean, he doesn't have a Boar's tier Chen. That's one thing. Wendy's so good. Except she misses even more than Boars. At least Barth is reliable. He's the reliable one somehow. I guess it's because I gave him a secret book. His hit rates would be a little worse otherwise. Secret books are typically sold in other games, but in this game I think secret books are super important. Because +4 hit in FE6 is just really good. Like, Boars could really use +4 hit. And he has 16 skill, so like, it's not a low number, even if it's not stellar. It's like, I don't know. Hit rates will always be shaky on a non-sword unit, so any non-sword unit can always benefit from the secret book. Besides maybe a few magic users. Like, I know Lu is consistently very accurate. Just because fire is a very, very accurate weapon. And his skill is also decent. Speaking of skill, Ray just got it. Very useful on a healer. Don't want that heal staff to miss. Put him to sleep yet again. No, sleep broke. So sad. Here I'm like, oh, she would not do very well against Mr. Manakete. So I just barred her. Play for her, whatever. Because even though she wouldn't die to him, she'd still face crit. Maybe she wouldn't if I had her in range of her Barth support. Maybe she wouldn't face crit, but I'm not sure. I wasn't gonna risk it. This map is basically over at this point. I just have to deal with a few enemies, and then there's Douglas who exists, the two bolting mages who are out of boltings, Zeiss, and then Martian. Martian is not a very threatening boss. He's not fast. Well, it's 18 speed isn't slow, but it's kind of slow. I mean, he gets doubled by Boars, so yeah, it's kind of slow. And then he has a rune sword, which is not a threatening weapon. It doesn't hit res, so it's just like a spear sword that drains HP, but it's not accurate. And also, his, I forget what it's called in this game, Delphi Shield. While it does negate arrows, it actually doesn't negate, dragon weakness, so you can just Armads him, Durandal him, Forblaze him, and he'll just die. That's fun as well. Very fun, in fact. Here I'm just sending Cecilia over to the right in order to bait Douglas away, now that I've used all of my sleeps. There's a Knight's Crest in one of those chests to the left, which is why I'm sending Barth with Kath. Can finally have all my armors promoted. It's so good to finally see EXP go up. I'm killing something. Even though that probably won't last. I'm sure Douglas, Barth, and Wendy will all cap out at level 20. Unless, of course, Boars just murders everything, which I wouldn't put it past him. Though honestly, I am really surprised at how much use I've found for Barth and Wendy in some maps. Like, having them do stuff was actually convenient and useful for a lot of maps, so I'm kind of proud of them. They may be worse than Boars, but even unpromoted, they can contribute. Chlorine gets more avoid boosting stats, to nobody's surprise. Boars just casually one-shots a dude with Armads. What a god. Just all that HP gone. 54? Doesn't care. You're dead in one hit. Armad's OP, OP. Silva Bow. Seize Throne. Yeah, we'll get there. But first we have to kill every last one of them. Except for Douglas and Zeus. And the two bolting guys. Gotta kill the wall. 100 HP wall, so that we can get to Zeus. Zeiss. Z-Ice. Whatever you want to call him. We don't know how the hell to say his name. Probably do. Can look up the etymology. Is that the word? Of his name? Of the name Zeiss, Zeus, whatever. If it even exists, it could just be a fantasy name. Who knows? Like Douglas. I know that's a fantasy name. I mean, who's named Douglas in the real world? Nobody. That's who. Who's named Roy in the real world? Who's named Marcus in the real world? I don't know any of those people. So just fantasy names. Though I do know an Elfin, so... game's not come all fantasy names. Gotta build that support with Barth. I can't believe Barth stole Boars' sister without even consenting or realizing. So sad. But yeah, Rune Sword has 60 hit. It's really not that good. Less accurate than Nosferatu. And you can get Weapon Triangle over it pretty easily. So then it has 50 hit. It's like, well, good luck hitting Boars when he innately has a ton of avoid and then gets supports. I do forget a couple turns to move Cecilia, but she doesn't die in one hit to Douglas, so it's not like it matters if she would have gotten hit or not. Like there. She has a good HP, decent enough defense to not get one shot by his 33 attack, I think it is. Gotta recruit that flyer. I'll probably end up deploying Zeus over Shanna. I have actually found use for Shanna in a few maps. Even like this late, just because having a fairy bot is nice. Utility is pretty good. Pretty good. Now it's time to do shopping. Shopping meaning selling lots of things. Lots of swords, lots of bows, lots of light tomes, lots of everything. Lots of blue gems, well, 2 blue gems to be exact. Also, I'm recording this voiceover pretty late. I just got home from a closing shift at work, so if I've been extra out of it, tired sounding, that is probably why. That's why this video is probably going up a day late, because I recorded the gameplay before work, but wasn't able to record the voiceover since the gameplay ended up taking way longer than I thought it would. I wasn't expecting it to take over an hour. I was expecting it to take like 45 minutes, which would mean more time, less editing, less time doing a voiceover, but it's fine. I considered selling the Delphi shield, but no, I'm gonna keep it, since it may come in handy. Probably on Milady. Because Air Caliber is pretty scary. So, yeah, that'll probably prevent her from getting one shot by something. It's kind of weird how Nosferatu sells for more than a silver blade, but it is what it is. Boars barely doesn't one-shot the dude with a steel, or not steel, silver lance crit, so I'm just gonna attack Mr. Beautiful, Wise, Strong, Always Right Narshan here. Just so I can get him low enough. It's a one-shot with the triangle attack. There we go, he is the big dead. Are you calling boars miserable? And that's why you've already lost. You have to acknowledge him being better than you. Like, Randy. Randy was like, it's an honor to die to you, because Boars is so great. Boars is so great. He's the best. Hopefully this run proves that he is, once and for all, the best unit in the game. I mean, he can solo the game, which makes him the best unit. I mean, Ike is the best unit in a Path of Radiance because he can solo it. It's also why Hector is the best unit in FE7. Yeah, anybody who can solo their game, best at it. Arden is the best Gen 1 unit in FE4 because he can solo the game. Yeah, nothing wrong with that logic. Nothing wrong at all. Time to do our last bit of selling. And I actually do end up buying 2 guiding rings. Just because I do want to have more promoted healers so that I can have more warp users. Promoted healers meaning promoting Ellen and promoting Chlorine. Also top tier support. I mean, it's between 2 top tier units, so of course this is top tier support. They're good friends. Support level increased, so good. But yeah, that should conclude Chapter 16. So yeah, next time we'll do Chapter 16X. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.